Three, two, one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your sports guru, aka DH Grove, bringing you another episode of Sports Guru Live. And tonight we're just going to round up the NBA, give you our thoughts in terms of what happened around the league, and basically, no Chris Rock, no Will Smith, as I had mentioned that night. I'm more of a sports dude, and usually I like to keep it on sports, but occasionally, I branch out and sometimes, we got some decent response off of that last video. There were a few people that thought we were a little hard on women, and I thought that was ridiculous, and I told them so because I was equally hard on Will Smith, as rightfully so. He deserved it. So, um, it is what it is. Sometimes when you criticize people, you're always going to get the peanut gallery that has something to say. And you know what? That's what social media. That's what makes it great. And as long as you can respond and not take it personally, then it works, I think. So. That being said, let's get to the NBA, and we showed you a little tape of the highlights. You'll see the new or the Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks, and really that's where we want to start. The theme of our show tonight is the mantle had already been passed, but most people didn't realize it. You know what? I'm gonna be fair. I didn't even totally realize it, but now I do. The best player in the world is Giannis, the Greek freak. All this talk about Kevin Durant being the best player in the world and all of this, it's a bunch of bull crap. I mean, a man has played 49 games this year out of 70-something games, almost 80 games. The regular season's 82 games in totality. And last year, I think he played, what did he play, like, he played like 30 something games or whatever, right? Because he came back from the Achilles, or maybe even less than that. I mean, to try to make this guy, who basically is the black version of the Tin Man, the greatest player in the world, part of, what's that thing? The best availability or the ability is availability. So the best ability is availability, right? And in order to be a champion, in order to be the best at what you do, you got to show up every day. I could tell you that for showing up for 33 years straight at Metro North Railroad and, getting it done, and that's why, I get to retire early and do my thing. But nevertheless, the bottom line is Giannis. I mean, 44, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. And, once again, Kevin Durant down the stretch misses big shots. No one, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world are never around to tell you about that. But he'll tell you about Kyrie Irving and the stupid vaccine, which, you could fall on whatever side you want to fall on it. I mean, the one thing I don't like about it is the fact that, a lot of police, firemen, whatever, nurses, doctors lost their jobs, and now, Mayor Adams wants to change the rule and let Kyrie Irving play and most importantly let the Yankees play. Don't kid yourself. That's what this is really all about in Brooklyn. That's before because look, I'm a New York guy, and in Westchester they had no vaccine, but in the five boroughs where who lives, they had it. So figure that out. Figure that one out, folks. It's not that hard. It's not that deep. You don't have to do a deep thinking to figure out why that is. That being the case, back to the original topic, which is, who is the best player in the world? And, what he did in the NBA Finals last year. Now, he's going to have to do it again. He can't, come and let Phoenix beat them in the finals. He's going to have to beat them again. But, are you going to bet against him? I'm certainly not. I mean, Phoenix is playing great basketball, but hey, Monty Williams and the boys did not get it done. They just did not get it done last year, and he was superfluous. He was superfluous, no doubt about it, man. And like I said, you do the black Tin Man all you want, and a lot of people, always saying this Brooklyn thing in terms of, they got these two great players. Man, it takes a lot more than two great players to win you a championship. You have to have continuity. Look, I'll steal a line from Dwayne Wade, who was on the post game of TNT tonight, and he basically spelled it out. He said that there's something that you have to have. I forgot the word he used, but he kind of put it in its proper perspective. And why not? He's a champion. I mean, he's a guy who won a championship by himself and then won two with LeBron, and he actually taught LeBron how to win. In terms of just being a little bit more mature than LeBron and going through that. And so, wow, I think that, sometimes you watch something on television, you see these guys on TV, and half of them don't know what they're talking about. But Dwayne was right on point when he was just saying that they've been through the fires in terms of playing together, and they know how to rely on their teammates. And Shaq talked about that as well. So give the Big Diesel a lot of credit, because sometimes he gets up there and just wants to bash people. But I thought he was very on point too tonight on TNT. Furthermore, let's talk about Frank Vogel a little bit. The Lakers, again, they lose to the Utah Jazz. I mean, no LeBron, no AD. Supposedly they're going to be back for the last 5 games. Let's face it, there's no way they're going to both play the last 5 games. I mean, as much as I love LeBron, last couple of years he's proven to be, non-invincible. So you got to be fair about that as well. I mean, he keeps getting hurt, whether it's his ankle, whether it's his knee being sore, and then AD, Dwayne was defending him tonight, but the bottom line is Dwayne Wade. I mean, the guy just doesn't play. So, it's not a matter of bashing him. It's not a matter of saying that he's not a great player. But once again, you got to be there. You got to be there to be considered great. And part of greatness is being durable enough to get through those seasons and being able to withstand the test of time, so to speak. And that's something that he just can't do. So, top 50, you guys could do all the lists you want. Shaq and them were making fun of whether, who in the Lakers, I guess the panel was saying that they had 5 Hall of Famers, and Shaq kept saying 4, and then he kept saying 3. The fact of the matter is they do have 5 Hall of Famers, but right now they only have 1. Let's be fair, and that's LeBron James, because Carmelo is not a Hall of Fame player right now, and neither is Anthony Davis, and neither Russell Westbrook. Come on, and you ain't gonna come fight me, not my little. Lord have mercy. But anyway, yeah, and then Dwight Howard is also a Hall of Famer as well. So, it is what it is. But ultimately, like I said, Frank Vogel tonight was another embarrassment. If you guys are Laker fan, for Laker Nation out there, the last game, which was a blowout loss to Dallas, where I believe Howard took a 3 within the first 3 minutes of the game, and then basically never came back into the game. Tonight, took a 3 and hit it, and I believe he had one of the best games he's had in 5, 6, 7 years. Double figures in points, 20-something points, a bunch of rebounds, just an all-around great game. But still, when Rudy Gobert was in the game, he was matched up against Rudy. Then Vogel, being the knucklehead that he is, he took him out of the game and then let, when Rudy Gobert got taken out by Quinn Snyder, Vogel kept, Howard back in the game. And then, so therefore, when he would come out, then Rudy would be in the court without him. And so when you have Howard on the floor, okay, against smaller players, he's basically rendered helpless. He won't go out and guard the 3. So whenever Gobert got out of the game, a smart coach would have got Howard out of the game, because that's why you got him in the game. I mean, the Lakers for the last, say, 20 games have gone to this small ball, which basically is maybe 3 wins and 17 losses, but yet, they continue to think that it somehow works. Playing Stanley Johnson, who is a tremendous hustle player, give him all the credit in the world, but he's a guy that was out of the league. He was out of the league for a reason, because he didn't work hard enough on his jump shot. His jump shot is inconsistent, so therefore he's a liability on the offensive end of the court. So having him out there, playing the 5, it's almost absurd. But if it's a smaller lineup, when Gobert is not in the lineup, then you can kind of, get away with him a little bit. But just the fact that he didn't know that, folks, it just shows you how inept he is as a coach. It shows you how important coaching is, and it shows you why the Lakers have struggled. I mean, there's some sort of, record that they've made in terms of different starting lineups. In fairness to him, some of it has been because he has had, so many injuries, but a lot of it is because he doesn't know what he's doing. Malik Monk, who's had a very good year, a resurgence of sort, but he doesn't even know when to play him. I think he's averaging like 14 points a game. He should be averaging 20. That's how good he's played at times. But at times he's been on the bench. Now, in fairness to Vogel in this regard, he is a defensive liability. But you know what? This is an offensive league. That's all the NBA is about today. Just like they want baseball, football, everything is geared towards the offense. So you got to play him. You got to be able to withstand his defense, and you got to live with it. In other words. And just the fact that Vogel can't understand that, and the fact that he didn't understand that you match up Howard and Gobert. I mean, last year Rudy Gobert he was the reason why the Utah Jazz lost against the Clippers, because if you remember, Quinn Buckner refused to take him out of the game, and what's his name, the coach of the Clippers, Tyrone Lue, he went 5 out, and basically Gobert was a liability, and he refused to take him out of the game, and the Clippers killed him from the perimeter. So it was incredible what a great job of coaching that Tyrone Lue did. Who arguably he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. And so give him a lot of credit, because the Lakers could have had him, but they wanted to underpay him and tell him what coaches he had to hire. So he said, no thanks. And although everything hasn't gone, peachy keen in the other part of L.A., but the bottom line is he's a lot better than, Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel's, he's a disgrace. And I will guarantee you this, folks, next year the Lakers will be better just by him, being gone. And that's a fact. There's no doubt in my mind. So let's go to there was some other key games in the NBA. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think I have it here on my little trusty little computer here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh, well, interesting. I had it all queued up, but NBA. Okay, we'll do it as I talk. But this is Sports Guru Live. I'm TH Groove, and we're going to give you a few other tidbits around the NBA tonight. And here we go. Obviously, we talked about the Nets and the Bucks. It was 120 to 119. The Bucks over the Nets in overtime. The Clippers and the Bulls. The Clippers, we waxed poetically about them a few minutes ago, but they lost to the Bulls 135 to 130. I believe that was in overtime as well. And DeRozan had a big game. So, the Lakers 122 to 109 loses to the Jazz. We mentioned that. And so tomorrow or today on tap, we have the Raptors at the Magic. Big, like right now, I believe the Nets, the Hornets, and one other team are tied for that ninth spot. And I'll tell you, it's going to be incredible. I believe Atlanta also, that's the third team. They're playing the Nets. So it's conceivable that the Nets and the Lakers might not even make the playoffs or to play in. Can you imagine the two teams with the best odds to win the NBA Finals in the beginning of the season, and still, Vegas still has the Nets there, which is absurd because it's just not. They haven't done enough. They haven't played enough together. They don't have the coaching. They don't have anything that you need as far as to really be a championship team other than two great players. So if you think two great players is going to win it, it didn't win it last year. There's always injuries. There's always things that are unexpected that are going to occur. These things are going to happen. And guess what? They're not going to be able to overcome that, especially the fact that they have a guy who's basically shouldn't even be coaching, basically shouldn't have won an MVP, but we'll leave that alone. And so I think we covered just about everything that we wanted to cover. We went over Frank Vogel. We went over, obviously, that we think Giannis is the greatest player in the league right now, and he's going to prove it again and by getting to the finals and possibly winning a championship. If he doesn't do it, he's still the best player, but it's not like, when LeBron was, where it was unequivocal, that he was the number one guy. There's several guys now that could, argue that they, or you could debate are the best player in the league or the best player in the world, but it's not like, clear cut at this point. I think that's the best way of putting it. But so we talked about that, and that will be the theme of the show. And then what else did we talk about? Obviously, we didn't really get into the Will Smith thing. Enough of that, really. Come on, one of my former colleagues, said that she just got tired of hearing it, and I respect that. I mean, I think that, people said what they had to say. You know, most people understood that it was wrong. It's a very bad lesson to teach the youths of today with all the violence that goes on, whether it be police, on black folks, whether it be black on black crime in the inner cities. You just don't want to promote that kind of stuff. And I think if Will Smith could do it over again, he would not have gone up there and did what he did. So let's leave it there. I'm the sports guru, aka DH Grove. Thank you. We'll see you again. We'll see you next time. And be safe out there. God bless.